I like that. But one apparently didn't have it.
We've gone
I was
live.
okay with say top view. There was one on the leash. I don't want to see anybody. It's fine.
Well, that was probably pickle. Oh, what kind of pickle? They just say
Australia.
Yeah. Oh, like yes.
They didn't have the right, oh yeah. Oh
So yeah, she's gonna go get tomorrow.
I think I met her once, but she looked familiar, but I couldn't.
It's pretty painful, just to
Okay,
get.
now that I got the desk on,
No, they do it. She said this last one for that. Yeah, but when you guys.
Yeah.
okay. I think I'm ready. Okay. Oh, God.
It's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call our regular meeting to order, and we'll start with our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to the adoption of agenda, any additions or deletions? See none. The agenda will stand approved as presented. Moving on to the consent agenda. We've got our regular meeting minutes of June 10th and a special meeting minutes of June 27th. And our township payroll and bills amount of $143,711.68 and our treasurer's report.
I move to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the regular meeting minutes, June 10th, 2024, and the special board meeting minutes of June 27th, 2024, and the township payroll and monthly bills in the amount of $143,711.68, and acknowledge the treasurer's report.
Support. We have motion and support to approve the consent agenda, which consists of regular meeting minutes of June 10th, 2024, special meeting minutes of June 27th, 2024, and township payroll monthly bills in the amount of $143,711.68, and acknowledge our treasurer's report. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the bills. What, you had, there was a charge in there for mileage for McGraw, Morris, whatever case. What case is that?
That is for the Hermes case, the marijuana case that we're, caregiver case that we're fighting right now.
Where was that one at?
It was out on Huff Road. You mean the case or the? where
Yeah, no, I just wondered where, okay. And that was in Lapeer, over there?
I had to go to Troy,
Oh, geez.
to their office.
That was all.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to the report section. Start with the fire department. And Don's walking right in right now.
You're on, get up there.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. How can I help?
Well,
Fire report.
I'm that far away? Holy smokes. Should have it in front of you. A little quieter month than we've had in a few months. Fire runs were about normal, and the fire runs were down like 10. So, but Bob made up for that today. He ran most all day.
Oh, no.
So hopefully you all have my report. And if there's any questions, I'd love to answer.
Questions for Don?
Thanks for coming.
The house fire, Don, the house fire that we had, electrical, is that what I heard? Electrical, was it caused the house fire on Shoemaker?
Yeah, overloaded extension cord.
Okay, all right. That was it's a shame that, moving on to the police report. Any questions or comments for the police?
Just a comment, they're still using Andy as interim police chief, his name down there.
Yeah, that's just the form that they're, I'll get Caitlin to get that off.
They haven't picked one yet, right?
They haven't even interviewed yet. Interviews, I think, are sometime this week. They're interviewing 4, from what I understand. Anything else on that? In our assessor's report. Okay. Moving on then to our public comment. It's our first of 2 public comment. And when the audience wish to be recognized at this time. No? Okay. Old business, we've got our dugouts and fencing. Randy, you want to talk about the dugouts situation? You've been spending a lot of time at it.
Yeah, I know. I got the price from Jay Steele on that one from Attica. They Paul has the number of what they paid or whatever. The dugout's complete. This would be made during the winter time. At about $9,500 each, total of about $57,500. That did not include them transporting it. That did not include them erecting it. They did not want to get involved with that again. They said it was a nightmare in Attica. Also, the only thing that's powder coated on that was the 6 post. Nothing on the roof or anything was powder coated. So,
What was the name of that company?
Jay Steele.
Jay Steele.
Jess, okay.
And Paul had a number of what Attica paid there back in 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it was expensive then. I guess, what we're finding out, and like I say, Randy's really spent a lot of time with this thing so far. And to get 6 dugouts installed on cement slabs, we're pushing, $100,000. When Attica did it, they spent pretty much all their ARPA money, but they redid a lot in their park as well. So they spent over $150,000 on their stuff. But I guess, Randy and I have talked about it a lot, and it's like, where do we go from here? Because it's probably more money than we want to spend. And so I don't know if we want to just say, we'll do, a field this year, a field next year, and a field the 3rd year. It's really up to the board.
Up there, Russ wasn't here, or Rob, whatever. I was going to ask him, isn't field 1 the designated field up there? That's where they do a lot of.
That's the big one, yeah.
So I have thought about it, and field 1 and field 2 have some problems there with the structure. Field 3 is pretty decent. And I think field 2 and field 3 are for the younger ones, and doesn't the high school go over and use field 1? And
The JVs do, yeah.
I don't know. What I would consider would be, we have a quote from that Superior Arc LLC, which was Danny Howe, and erected, made, put on the cement, mounted down and everything. For the small one, which was a 10 by 24, it was $14,400 each. For the bigger structure, it was $29,000. I would suggest that, why don't we make a big one for the big field 1 and maybe try a smaller one on field 2 and call it good.
Didn't we have a quote for them being out of wood?
Yes.
Didn't we have that? But didn't that come in under 50,000?
No.
Absolutely. Well,
Not under 50.
no, it was right up there, but wood structure is not going to last like a metal one.
Well, the one we have right now is wood, right? It's been there for how many
Yep.
years? 50 years?
Yep.
I don't know, about 50. but-
And I have looked at them over in Armada. Armada is made out of the 4-inch galvanized post which you hook the cyclone fence to. And I did go research a little bit in the dugouts from down in I believe it was Dugout USA. Those are the same thing, made it out of a 4-inch, I believe, galvanized post. And the metal is not as heavy as what we would be using. So my suggestion was put a big one up there in the big field and then put a little one in the field 2 and leave 3 alone. That's just a suggestion, I guess.
Did we ever come up with a dollar amount that we would be comfortable spending?
No,
No.
no.
don't
I
think
mean,
so.
we've tossed out, 50,000 and I
Right.
said, well, if it goes a little above that, people would still support it, but,
We also have a metal fabrication plant right here in Elmont, Legacy Steel, right next to McDonald's.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if we would talk to them on a comparative bid. Local guy, I don't know, maybe he could help us out too. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Randy. You did most of the background on this, so I'm just throwing.
It would be nice to have a number
Okay.
to try to go with, because
we can certainly get a hold of them and see, if they can do something like this for us.
Were these amounts, was this installed and everything completed?
The Superior,
14,
the
4 and the
Superior
29?
one was. Yeah,
Okay.
That was,
was that steel?
Was that
Superior.
installed and everything done?
Superior Contracting
yeah, that's installed and everything.
for,
No, Superior Art, the one that was all installed.
yes, that's complete. We
Okay,
don't touch it.
Okay.
J Steel did not want to transport it
right.
from there here, and they did not want to get,
The only thing we had to do is have a cement slab.
That was 14
Okay.
for the small one.
well, I just did some quick numbers. Basically, your roundabout, if you did the big field up there and you did a little, field 1 at the big one, field 2 at the smaller one, it'd be about $70,000.
Did you say it was 29 at 14?
No.
That's 86.
14.4 for the small one times 2,
Right? It's 29.
and 20,900
Oh, 20,900.
for the big one.
That's the big one.
So
When you
you're
talk about
basically
the other one,
28,800 and 42,000.
there's really no reason that they couldn't be both the same size. I don't think we need it.
So
Is
is
large
that
as
still,
that.
Jay's making that in the wintertime and still just the poles are powdered?
This is from Superior Art.
So it's their deal, is the whole thing?
J
powdered?
Steel they said that they would have it ready early spring, that we would have to find somebody to put it up. But the bench on theirs, they had an aluminum bench, $5,800 each. $34,000 for benches in 3 of them. Aluminum. They said they looked for old bleachers, cut them up, and put a stand on it. And I did talk to Danny, which is Superior Arc, and he says that he could come up with something.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to Legacy, and then hopefully we can bring this back. Is everybody comfortable with the 50 to 60,000, or you want to go
Yes.
more than that?
Yes. And has the baseball, have they indicated how much they would be willing to,
No, we've not even approached that yet.
help,
So
or even just
There would be no,
labor,
There would be.
labor?
there would be
For-
nothing for this.
for labor,
Yeah,
they're not gonna do anything. I wouldn't want them around there if this
Okay.
company's gonna
Insurance,
put
we
it
don't
on.
want,
oh,
we
okay,
want it we want a company to put
Okay.
it together, so.
okay.
Brenda, let's go ahead and do that, and hopefully we can bring a number back at our August meeting and get this put to bed and let them start building this stuff, so if everybody's comfortable with that.
That include, would we move then the third base dugout to climb
No,
that?
that didn't talk about any shifting there. That's why I wish
No.
that Rob would've been here, but
Because that kind of really needs to happen if we're going to do this. And it has implications to the backstop, because the backstop will have to shift as well.
What, yeah, I don't
They
understand.
talked about it.
That's because of the right field, the first base
If-
field, that kind of goes off the property. It's not clocked properly. If you know what I'm saying. If you're standing at home plate, the whole field needs to move, to 11 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. It's moved to 1 o'clock.
I guess I'd have to
Points
see that
towards
because
the-
all the years that my kids played on that field, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
they brought
being
it up
that
to
way.
us, and you can see it plain as day when you're there.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at that and hopefully bring something back then for the August meeting. And the fencing, I've received 2 quotes so far. And I guess I didn't realize for the cemeteries, we were talking that kind of money, but, we're running, probably $30,000 a total for the 2 cemeteries. One's a little over 32.8, but that's aluminum. And Randy just told me tonight that,
Yeah, I did talk to Danny about it.
Yeah,
He said
in
he's
steel.
never done one, but if he had some sort of a drawing or something,
Yeah.
he'd shoot us a price, and they'd be powder coated.
so we'll do something, take a look at that further. It's just that we just have to watch, as far as I'm concerned anyway. We can't do everything this year. So.
And I'd like to talk to him too about a size that,
Yep.
I just thought, and you said the ones at the school are 20 length, at the high school,
The block ones are 20 feet,
20.
yeah. And the one over here is, I don't want to say it's 28 or 30, the high school one, or the one that's on our field, so. Okay, any questions on either of those before we move on?
What about just putting 5 or 6 trees along, like at Scotch Settlement, kind of how it was? Just move them out of the road right away and replace them and give them the 150 years that the other ones were there. Do we need a fence there?
Just makes it look a little nicer.
Look nice.
It hasn't had one for all these years.
Yeah, we had one out of Webster and we took that down because it got really looking sort of shabby. I think years ago, if my memory served me correctly, I think there was one at Scotch Settlement many, many years ago. We've already got one at Sand Hill. And if we get Ferguson Cemetery, which is in the works right now, there's already a fence there too. So it's more for looks than keeping anybody out.
For Scott Settlement, was there like a board out there before we took it over?
Yes, yeah.
Do you know who they were?
Who they were?
Yeah.
David Borland and I forget the other one.
They're still around?
They're around someplace, I'm sure.
I
David didn't live in the community. His mom and dad used to be on it years ago.
I just thought if somebody was from that board committee or whatever from the past, maybe we could ask them for some input, their thoughts, to bring it back to the way it was.
I like the idea of a fence. I think it gives more of a dignity and a sense of permanence, especially for a cemetery. I like a fence better. I think that would be nicer.
So we'll continue to look on that and then keep updating as we go further. Anything else on that? Okay, let's move on to our new business, and we're going to let Ms. Lisa come up here. She is from the Assessment Administration Services LLC. We had received a proposal from her and her company to our assessing services here in Elmont Township, taking them over, and she has the gentleman with her that would be our assessor. So
Good
Lisa,
evening.
go ahead.
Good evening. My name's Lisa Griffin, and I'm the owner of Assessment Administration Services. We gave you a proposal for assessment services. I know your assessor has been here a long time and is wanting to retire. So a little bit about our company. Well, for years, I've been in the assessment administration field since 1985 and started the business in 2009, actually with Bruce Township as my first township, I guess. And it's kind of grown from there into about, I think we have 24 currently. Cities, townships, villages, around 6 counties, mostly in Macomb and St. Clair. So what we do is provide assessment administration for local communities, just like your assessor had. So what we would be doing is providing 1 day a week services. We can also provide remote access. We are very familiar with BSNA. Obviously, pretty much everybody in the state of Michigan uses it. And Apex sketching. I'm not sure if
Yes.
your current
Yep.
assessor
We
is
just
on Apex.
renewed it just this month, so.
Okay, good. So pretty much, with assessment, we all use the same software, so it's a pretty seamless transition. We're very familiar with, townships that have villages and how that works, as well. Mitch Elrod is a level 4 assessor, which is a Michigan master assessor now. And he would be the signing assessor for the township if you approve the contract. We also would have backup, as far as people going out in the field, doing field work for permits and things like that. So there would be additional personnel that you would probably see on occasion, or if Mitch, was gone or got sick or something like that, we do have people that we could bring in as like substitute, backup. And then I'm always available myself as well. So, did you have any questions, or is there anything
We'll
else?
open it up to questions. I know I have some, but if somebody else has got some first, go
I have a
right
couple.
Go right ahead.
Hi, Lisa. So you talked about 1 day a week. Would you be in-house then 1 day a week in the
Yes,
office?
yes, in
At
the
Elmont
office.
Township? All right. And how reachable and accessible would Mitch be then for calls or questions from staff and then also from residents?
So typically, we're available by email. With all of our communities that we currently have, Mitch could probably speak to it more, but I mean, we are usually answering calls or emails, 5 days a week, even on the weekends sometimes. So we're available always by phone or email, pretty much any day.
Okay.
Obviously, he is also at Bruce Township and City of Richmond, but, we would leave you with a couple people that, if for some reason you couldn't get a hold of him, I'm always available. Or we would also have, like Chris Matei, who would be also available.
Okay.
Is Mitch
so-
1 day at Bruce and Richmond?
No, he's actually there 2 days a week. Yes.
At Bruce?
Yes.
And 1 at Richmond then, or
He's there 2 days.
Richmond too? So,
Yes.
Okay, so there's a week right there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So right now we have 1 day available. And like we said, if we got in there and felt that 1 day wasn't sufficient, I mean, we can always come back to the board and say, you know what, we think we need to do 2 days. I know currently, I think he's there, is it from 9 to 2, 2 days a week? Is that the
Right,
current?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we have 2 people.
2 people.
Yeah, husband and wife, they're there from 9 till 2, 2 days a week right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could assess, the needs at that point maybe and just see if that's something. I know in some of the communities, it's not necessary, but it just depends on, once we get in there, and see. I think his records are pretty up to date and pretty good. So.
We're only open Monday through Thursday. So
Oh, okay.
Friday we're
All right.
closed. So.
Okay.
So if you went to 2 days a week, how would that affect your contractual price?
I don't know. We would have to look at it and reevaluate it.
It would be adjusted, however.
It could be. I mean, it would just depend, because right now it would be Mitchell here, like 1 day as far as in the office. And then we would probably have like Chris or somebody else who would be also here to do field work, so like permits and stuff like that in addition. So that person could be available too to answer, questions if needed on a day that they might be in the office. So,
Okay.
Kim's got a couple more.
Right, I do. My concern is if somebody has a question and they are like at a stop until they get an answer, would we be able to get a quick answer from you or your staff? Not that we're like, I cannot do anything until I have an answer. Well, here I am.
right.
Would that,
No,
how would you see that?
Yes, I feel
happening?
like, as far as I know myself personally, and I know Mitch, we are both, available, and
Okay.
I do not like to leave questions to voicemail just because, number one, I'll probably forget to return the call.
Okay,
So I try to answer things right away, and I know Mitch is,
okay.
usually pretty good about
Okay.
that too.
And for
Um,
residents too, if they have a quick question, if they send an email, are you guys do you like give 24 hours to get back to somebody, or perhaps a shorter time than that? Like what
Yeah,
could
so
we expect?
I would say the same thing. I mean, if we get an email, I think, Mitch, you would probably respond.
All of my
right?
units are on my phone.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so that's
That's
kind of what we
good.
always do. We always have, like, on even our personal cell phones, we have all
Okay.
like the township emails sent directly to them.
Okay.
And, when we get them, like I said, I usually tend to answer them right away just because I don't want to forget and not answer
Right,
somebody.
right. And we just want our residents to have the best experience also and the best responsiveness. So that's
Yes.
why I'm asking that.
Yes.
And also, will you provide a monthly report for the board like we currently receive?
We can do that.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. And
Do
then,
you know,
yeah,
I
go
guess what his monthly reports, is it
Oh,
usually?
it's 10
include-
pages long. every month, so, it's a single page, just with
Okay.
what's gone on in the month, how many, people he's talked to and about
You
what.
can have that.
They've done
Okay.
some splits or whatever. Yeah, that's
Okay.
just, you can,
Alright,
it just
so-
keeps the board appraised of what's going on.
right,
Sure.
it's a good way for us to kind of track what's going on and probably a good way for you to track too.
Yes.
what's
so
happening.
There's
So
a
we
couple
would-
communities. we
I
do
would
that
want,
for.
I would want to see that. I think that would be
It's like a
something that would
monthly
be important.
recap, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep, we can do that.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I had. Thank you.
One of the things that, when Tom and Debbie lived north of Lapeer, so they always stopped in Lapeer
Mhm.
once a month and picked up all the things at the register of deeds that they needed. How would you take care of that? Because you live south of us and, we are so close to
Well,
Macomb
good thing
County.
is
So
that
how
I'm
would you
at
get that?
Lapeer.
Yeah, you're
So
at
I'm
Lapeer.
at Lapeer, so I can get that information. Yeah, so that won't be a problem. And I think Mitch would be pretty flexible.
Do they have an
Um,
online database?
Yeah,
I think they're downloaded now.
I think they are
Are they now?
downloaded now, yeah.
Yes.
I know they were working on it, but I didn't know if that
Yeah,
was ever
they
done.
did.
Yeah, but if there's ever anything, we're pretty available at the county as well.
So Lisa, what would be the transition process? I'm sure you would want to meet with Tom and Debbie, correct?
Yeah, so it's always good to have, that person there so that we can kind of just get the lay of the land and see what's been going on. We always say as assessors, we should be able to take over without even having to have that person
Right.
there, but it does make it smoother to have them available. That obviously he's got a lot of knowledge about the township over the years, so that is always, good to have as well.
That process would be, how long would you think would you have to meet with them?
I probably a few times would probably be sufficient.
Are you familiar with Tom and Debbie?
I've met Tom before, yeah. But, whatever his timeline is, we could work with. If he wants to, be out or, retire by August 1st, September 1st, whatever that is, we can make it work.
Did he indicate, Paul, he would like to be done by?
He was going to be done for sure by the end of the year, but he'd like to be out of here before November because that's when a lot of the work happens for the assessments and things like that. They go out in February. And right now he's a month with us. So I was just telling Lisa earlier, I think if, maybe if the board's comfortable with, with this and we approve it, then like maybe September the 1st, they could, take over. And that gives them, here a month or so to meet with Tom and get things, find out where he's got it all and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go later, like, because like you
Yeah.
said, then we start getting into having to do the sales studies and the ECF and the land, and
Yeah.
that all, has to get done by a certain time. And so I think September it would be good if
If
that's.
the board chooses to, say, we would approve it tonight and make it August 1st. I don't know, but it's because right now the contract that we have is prepared as August the 1st, but it doesn't need to be. We can always adjust that, so.
I like the fact that Mitch is working in communities that seem very similar to ours, at Bruce Township, Richmond, and then Almont. I think that's a good fit. It's not like you're working in Almont and then Clinton Township. I think you'd have more of a better idea of the different issues. So I do like that fact.
What, do you foresee any additional costs at all? I mean, like, we've Tom's always taken care of with the assessment notices. We go through KCI over Grand Rapids. I don't know how you guys do it. If you
So,
do it yourself and then mail them out, or how you do that?
so we don't provide any like office supply or printing or things like that. It would just be manpower. So if you do, we use KCI in many of our communities as well. So we would do the same thing, but no additional costs as far as like, I know some communities charge for like land divisions or combinations. We don't charge for any of that. I feel like that's part of the normal assessing
So it's
duties.
pretty much the same thing we got with Tom.
Yes,
We
and
pick up the
tax
tab for
tribunals
KCI
as well.
right now, and it's, their postage is so reasonable.
Yes,
that,
yeah.
It's really, it's hard to beat that with that.
Yeah, so we would, we're, very familiar, and I think even like the tax tribunals, if it's something that we can handle as far as like responding and things like that, we'll do it. If it's a full tribunal and we need to get the attorney involved, then we would just use, whoever the township, well, I know who
It's
the township, Saber and
right
Gillespie.
now, and I think
That's
you
who we
said
have
that-
at Bruce,
They
yeah.
have the same attorneys for
Yes,
Bruce. so
Christine
you-
Anderson, yes.
I
So,
think would be the
so we're
same.
very familiar with them as well.
Board review meetings, you would take care of setting all those
Yes.
up and so on and so forth?
Yes, we would do all the posting, everything. I mean, with the, as far as like in conjunction with the clerk, whatever posting you guys do here as far as putting it out front or whatever, we take care of all that.
The one big question that you and I have talked about already is the conflict of interest. You being the equalization director here
So-
in Lapeer County,
Yes.
we're the first ones in Lapeer County that would be, coming with your company.
Yeah.
I've had a lengthy discussion with our attorney on it, and we would have to have some proof or some information or letter from you that there is no conflict of interest and why.
Okay. So as far as conflict of interest, I'm not going to be signing the assessment role for Almont Township. So it would be Mitchell. It is obviously my company, but it wouldn't be, me as a certifying assessor. A lot of counties, especially like Oakland County, their equalization department signs the role for several of their townships and cities. So I think it's, that's
Well, let
kind
me
of
just
set a
ask you this.
precedent.
I am not an equalization director, and I have no idea.
Yes.
But do you have any oversight or input or anything like that into our assessment as?
No, I mean, as far as equalization, so what equalization does is basically looks at each township and city in the county and determines what basically the ratio for the market value is going to be for that year over a 2 year. And it's going to be based on sales or appraisals. So it's nothing that I can sit there and say, well, I'm going to, do something special for Almont because actually the state is reviewing our records as well. So it just like the townships and the cities had an audit, we also get audited, except the county gets audited each year rather than 5 years like the townships and cities. So every year the state comes in and looks and audits the information and goes through what we do as far as like how we've treated each city and township. So
Would you be opposed to writing some sort of a
No, not
letter
at
like
all.
that to
Yeah,
Almont
no,
Township?
not at all.
Saying that, we don't feel there's a conflict of interest and these are the reasons why type
Yeah,
of thing.
I have no problem.
And I think our attorney would feel a lot more comfortable, with that. And I think, going forward, I think the board would be as well.
Sure.
So, I mean, the one nice thing about it in there is if there is any issue like that, there's always an out.
Yes.
with the
Yeah. Oh,
30-day
yeah. We always
notice.
have in our contracts, we
Yeah.
always have 30 days and out, either party.
Yeah.
We've never had to exercise it. So
No,
hopefully we wouldn't have
we hope
to.
if,
but-
if you're ours, we don't have to do that either.
Right,
It just
right. So, but
doesn't-
we, and we're very, we're very flexible. I mean, everything, we like to keep the lines of communication open. So if there's ever any issues, we are always available to talk or discuss or anything that you have.
So
just
Mitch,
like-
you feel, have you looked to see what, the number of parcels and things like that we have here and everything? Are you comfortable that you can, take care of us in one day?
Oh, absolutely. Like Lisa said too, if it's November and I'm thinking I'm gonna need 2 days or more help, I would never hide that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna suffer in silence.
Okay.
So
And we always have backup. I mean,
Yeah,
we do, like our staff, we always have people who are available to help. And, Mitch as well, will take stuff home and do things at home or do, through remote access or whatever.
That's the
So,
only thing we'd have to get set up is with the
Yes.
remote access for you, which is no big deal. And
Yeah, so we would just need, access to like BSNA and all the programs and then an email, like township email. which
Now,
is always good.
And is Romeo part of, they have their own tax system as well, so you provide the listing for all the assessments and everything
For the
for
village,
the
you mean?
village, so that they
Yes.
can, because we have the same issue here.
Yeah, so Romeo's split in half. So
Right.
half of it's in Bruce and
Yeah.
half is in Washington. But yeah, we provide the
Okay.
the role to them.
You just stick it on a thumb drive and or
Yeah, how did you?
right now I'm emailing.
emailing it, okay. I guess it
Yeah.
would be whatever the village, I think
Yeah.
Tom
Everyone.
used to do it on a thumb drive, but that's no big deal, whichever way.
Yeah.
It works, comfortably with them, because we're right here in the same building, so it doesn't take much.
I like
That's
the
convenient.
idea of you, I like the idea of you signing something, putting something in writing.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
that protects the township and it protects you also.
Yes.
And I just kind of want to reinforce what you said about communication. If you communicate with, that's like the key for me. Just be in, just have a back and forth, especially with the staff and especially with our residents. That's very, very important to me that our residents are treated properly and in a timely manner. So.
Other
Important
comments or
for us,
questions?
too. Thank you.
I do have one question. So you're here one day a week, would that be our hours or are you gonna do like 9 to 5? Like different hours than what we have?
Are you open till
We're
2
only
o'clock?
open till 2 o'clock, but the village is open till 5.
Well, I pay him till 5, so he'll be here now.
So I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, typically it would be a full day. Yeah, I mean, so if, and that, we can also communicate that where if he, had to meet with a resident or something like that, as long as you guys are okay.
The
with it.
building's open at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can come in at 7 anytime you want to.
Oh, okay. Well, he's
7 till 5.
He's an
the
early
building's
riser.
open.
What I would do.
Because- And both of us are on the same, no Friday schedule, so the
Oh,
building
okay.
is locked up and the cleaning people.
So they're 7 to 2? Is that kind of-
They're 7 till 5.
Oh, 7 till 5. Okay, because
yeah,
they do 4 days.
They do 4
Okay.
days,
Oh, okay, that's good.
and we do 7 or 8 till 2.
Okay. And they're in the same building?
Same building.
Oh, that makes it
Yeah.
convenient. Okay.
Yep.
Mitch, do you have an assistant to help you input all the pre's and the PTAs and all that stuff? Or you do that yourself?
It's different in each of my communities. In Bruce Township, there's a township staff that works in assessing with me. She does that. In Richmond, it's a one-man department, so I'm doing that and all the splits and the field work, so.
It's a one-man show here too, so you'll be
Yeah.
doing all that.
But again, if it became like where it was, there were so many, we do have, like we could bring Chris in or somebody else in that can do some of the paperwork.
Seems
as
like
well.
splits, it's sort of running,
He's
all of a
dealing with
sudden
a
we've
lot
got a
of
lot
them
of
in
splits
Bruce.
coming through. And
My favorite
Yes.
part. Love the job.
Yeah.
all right, other questions? Go ahead.
So you don't have any kind of standardized way of doing like neighborhoods or anything like that? You kind of come in and leave as is? Because our assessor has worked really hard to undo what the previous assessor did. We had 4 neighborhoods before, just northeast, southeast, north and southwest quadrants. They worked really hard to get that, I think, to a really good level. I was on the board of review for many years, and we get about 20 maybe that come in. Some of them are the habitual ones, but
Right. So typically when we've gone into communities and, I always have the feeling of like status quo and just kind of figuring out, how it's working and what's working, maybe what's not working. So I don't like to come in and change anything, and
you don't see any farmers or farmland prices right where it needs to be.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, our
you need to
assessor
leave that
argues with the
alone.
equalization director every year about farmland
about the
prices.
farmland, which has gone up quite a bit.
They're-
But yeah, we don't, I don't foresee, anything like that. I mean, we do a couple things, the state likes us to go or, review parcels. So COVID's kind of changed all that. So what we do a lot is look at a lot of Zillow and a lot of GIS. Lapeer is currently working on a new GIS.
Thank God,
So
finally.
we're finally, exactly. So hopefully we have that up and running by October, which will be an excellent tool for us to kind of, compare records and things like that. But yeah, I don't foresee us changing anything unless, it's like glaringly obvious that it needs to be done. But if you were on the board review and you think it was going well, then that's pretty good
like
indication.
I said, other than 2 or 3 people that would come in hot-headed each year,
Yeah,
the rest of it
With
was
no evidence or proof, just coming in mad.
that too.
yeah.
They're too high.
Right.
They're too high.
Yeah, everything went very smooth. Tom and Debbie both had a great demeanor with our residents.
Yes.
They were able to explain it. They were lucky to get access to almost everyone that they needed to, and they made adjustments where necessary. And I think that's why we see 20 people at board review.
You said they have it split up into quadrants?
No,
No,
that's
Oh,
how it
no,
was
That's how it was.
15
Okay.
years ago or whatever it was.
Okay.
And that was a mess. There was 250 people for board review.
Yeah,
It was a mess. So
Okay.
he's worked really hard to get the neighborhoods
The
under
neighborhoods
control. And like I said, I really don't hear any complaints other than people that just think it's too high.
yeah.
Quit
Usually
voting-
it's the
quit
ones
voting
that have
yes.
just purchased a home and they think it's too high.
If we do it, work together here, we'll have to redo our policy because we've got the whole procedure in there
Yes.
for that. So we'll have to, make some changes to all that. So
Mhm.
if it all works out, I'll just give you the copy. You can cross it all out and then we can adopt a new policy with you.
Sure.
So.
Mhm.
Other questions? Rick, that was it?
Well, I
All set?
just had the concern that we're going to go from roughly 20 hours of man hours to 6 to 8. So that's my concern.
It's a legitimate concern.
Young blood.
Yeah.
Have tennis shoes on, you can run.
He's fast.
Anything else?
The contract here, I was looking through that when you brought up the board review. Is there something in the contract that says that you will attend the board review at that time? Am I missing it?
Usually I do have it in here. Let's see.
There was something in here, reference board of review.
There was? Where did I miss it?
I have it in the, I know I have it in the,
In that
in
little.
the first letter, I think I
Yeah.
have it as,
Attend any necessary work sessions in town
Yeah.
college board meeting.
it's not specifically in there, but I mean, we do say attend work sessions or board meetings, but we do, and I can put that in there specifically if that's what you.
So.
Yeah, we don't have, the assessor doesn't sit there at the March board review. Just the 3-member, board of review is there. But he's always been in the building in case, we
Yes.
have some questions on that. But the other two, the July and the December one, he pretty much runs those, so.
Yeah, yes, yeah, we would just, Mitch would just coordinate with his other communities and,
Yeah, if we have
Yeah.
to adjust some times
Yes.
or
We did that,
whatever.
we did that as well. Our times were adjusted, because Tom and Debbie had other communities as well. So they would have their day session and we would have our night session or vice
yes,
versa
yeah,
and flip that back and forth.
okay,
so.
yeah, so you're used to that. That's kind of what we do as well.
And then you said Mitch was a level 4
Yes,
and you're a level
3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Those are gone now. Now it's all
Yes, so
letters.
it's Michigan Advanced
Okay.
and Michigan Master Assessing
Yeah.
Officer.
And he stated that he was the city of Richmond and Bruce Township.
Correct.
How many communities do you work for that have ag land in it with irate farmers? I'm gonna break the news to you right now because it could get a little heated.
Well, not if it's, we haven't had
I
anything
understand
in
that.
recent
Tom-
time, so as long as
Tom-
Mitch doesn't go and change everything, we should
Tom
be
always
okay.
put the fire out,
Yeah, well, he did.
yes.
Yeah.
But I know there's some, not me, but I'm just saying,
Sure,
there
Randy.
are some farmers that kind of get rubbed the wrong way and they get a little, and I'm sitting here in this spot trying to take care of the farmers.
Reference ag values.
Yes.
Right.
So just so you know, we do deal with Greenwood Township, East China, China Township, Bruce,
I did
Which-
a year in Greenwood.
and
so-
yeah, so we
Sounds like you were in prison or something.
All right.
so we've dealt
Lots of
with the yeah, that was kind of my first time, especially Greenwood. The farmers up there were they were
Irate.
yes.
Welcome.
Intense, intense,
Yeah.
Randy.
Well, I'll put it this way. They know what their land is worth. We'll put it that way.
Anything else?
Just a statement that our BSNA programs, tax and assessing, are connected.
Linked,
The
yes.
village is not.
Correct.
So that's, to get that information. So, and I'm the treasurer, so anything that comes in, change of address or anything, I don't have approval to change those addresses, which I'm okay with. But if I get something that comes back, it goes to the assessment office, or we have notification, we have a form, transfer of ownership, name, address change, that would have to be in your folder to say, okay, this needs to be done. So no problem with that, right? Okay, all right.
We deal with the Village of Romeo, and we also New Haven and Lenox. So we deal with both the villages there. But yeah,
So from the board's perspective, do we want to say September 1st?
If that's okay with them, if they need that long, or we could do August.
I mean,
I would like-
anybody see any problem with
I would
first?
like to have Tom's input on that.
Thank you.
Well, he already has.
Yeah.
He already has said the sooner the better. So he's ready to go at any time. And that's sort of what we've been talking, he and I've been talking about is September the 1st. And that gives him, August for how many days that, Mitch would have to meet with Tom and Debbie since they're here 2 days and he works 1 day. So for us, so it'd be, trying to get those 3 together and talking about it.
It's essentially 4 days. If it's 1 day a week, it's 4 weeks.
Right. Unless, yeah. And I don't, in talking with Tom as well, he doesn't think it's going to, take much because everything, like
Right.
Mitch and Lisa said, is all right there. It's,
He sounds very experienced.
Yeah.
He would be able to.
showing where the
transition.
file cabinets are and what's in them and where they're, so on and so forth. So.
Well, what is
Um,
your preference? Is August 1st too soon for you, or you need September 1st?
we can do either one. We
Say
can,
whatever.
yeah,
board's
whatever.
comfortable
I mean, whatever Tom decides. You let us know.
I'll
August is
talk
in
with
2
him
weeks.
tomorrow and let's say September the 1st.
Okay.
And that way, then they've got a little time to, do what they need to do to get brought up. And if they want it sooner, I'll give you a call, but.
And if he wants, Mitch to come in prior to September 1st, like a couple times.
That's my
we-
guess,
we
is
could-
I think September 1st, he's ready to walk out the door.
Okay, then we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's, that would be fine. We can just start the contract September 1st, but we could come in a few days before.
Can you sort of make the changes, some of the changes in the contract
Yes.
like that, and then add in some of the things about the border review and
Yes,
so
I
on
will
and so
add that
forth,
in,
and-
and then the letter that you want
Yep,
as
the
far
letter
as,
we-
yep.
everybody comfortable with that then?
Yes, yes.
Then we would take action at our August meeting and approve the contract then. Okay?
That would be great.
And
Thank
it would be nice, or actually, when would you know a schedule? For instance, when would
What
Mitch
day
be
of the
here? What
week?
day would he be kind of planning to be here?
What
Would
day-
you know by then?
What
You could
days,
plan it out.
what days were
He's
they
here Tuesday and
currently?
Wednesday right now.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Would probably have to be
Wednesday. So that would,
If that
tentatively,
changes
we
normal
could say
day for
Wednesday.
Tom.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah. And we
let's do
can-
that then, and then you get that over to me, and I'll check with Tom in the morning and see if there's any issues with that, and go
Okay.
from there.
And if you're, the public is used to somebody Tuesday and Wednesday, we could have it where, Mitch is available by email or whatever on
Yeah.
that Tuesday as well. Because he's available, right?
Would you
Always available.
Would you be familiar, and would Zoom meetings with residents be an option?
Sure.
Okay,
I
great.
have not had to do that yet,
Okay.
but if they,
Well, why not,
Sure.
right? Why not? Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good option also.
Yeah, we
Somebody
can
wants
always
to
set
come.
up and meeting times or
Okay,
whatever. If
great.
they want to specifically come in and speak with, face to face with somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Or-
You'll
yeah.
see that a lot. People really like to just don't know who he is, and,
Mhm.
and it's just a big change for Elmont. So, yeah,
No, it's no change for Alma.
No.
It's just a name change.
yeah. Anything else?
No.
If not, thank you.
All right. thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
And
you.
like I told you before, you're free to stay and enjoy the rest of our meeting if you'd like, or you can take off and go home. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our first salary resolution. We started with the trustees. We had talked about the last meeting that we were setting the salary for the trustees at $5,800 effective July 1st, 2024. Need a motion?
I move to approve the salary resolution for the trustees that as of July 1, 2024, the salary of the office of trustee shall be $5,800.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support to approve the salary resolution setting the salary for the trustees effective July 1st, 2024 to be $5,800. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Whoop,
What's the current? I missed the last meeting, so.
shame on you.
56, wasn't it?
It was 56 because we
So
added
this is like
$200. didn't we?
just like 2%.
We ordered, no, we offered $200 increase till their total.
Roll call, please.
Streeter,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Dodge,
Yes.
Roseback,
Yes.
Ashenberg, Henneke, yes, Bowman,
Yes. Motion is carried. Moving on to the salary resolution for the treasurer. Last meeting, we discussed increasing the salary for the treasurer to $38,500 and effective July 1st, 2024. Motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary resolution for the treasurer as of July 1st, 2024. The salary of the office of treasurer is $38,500.
Do we have a support?
Support.
We have motion support to approve the salary resolution effective July 1st, 2024 for the treasurer to set the salary at $38,500. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dodge,
Yes.
Streeter,
Yes.
Ashenberg,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Henneke, yes, Ashenberg,
Again.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was supposed to be a G. Grossbeck. Bowman.
Yes, motion approved.
That's supposed to be Walker.
And our last one is for the supervisor position, and we had discussed increasing that to $31,820 effective July 1st, 2024.
Go ahead. Go
I'll
ahead.
move to approve the salary resolution for the supervisor as of July 1st, 2024, and the salary of the office shall be $31,820.
Support.
We have a motion support to approve the salary resolution for the supervisor effective July 1st, 2024, to set the salary at $31,820. Any discussion? Not all those in favor? Roll call, I'm sorry.
I messed you up the last time.
Yeah, you did.
Dodge,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Grossbeck,
Yes.
Streeter,
Yes.
Henneke, yes. Eschenberg,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes, motion's carried. Moving on to the hourly rates. I was also asked to put on the agenda to look at our hourly rate for the zoning administrator, deputy clerk, deputy treasurer, permit clerk, and the new position that we've approved, the secretary to the treasurer. When they asked me to do this, no one had any indication of what they wanted to do. So I guess I'm looking for some input here to see what they would like to set the new rates for. I know Jenny has talked to me concerning the deputy clerk, that her job has changed a lot, just like the clerk's job has. So I think that you were looking at something different there than.
Yes, so with the 9 days early voting, since I'm on the ballot this time, she will be the main person running the 9 days early voting. But not just with that, but everything else that has changed with this 9 days early voting, her job has definitely increased. So I was looking at $20 an hour. I don't know what everyone else thinks of that rate. Her current rate is $17.33 an hour. So does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I have no problem with it.
I don't either, but I'd like to set some type of a schedule. She's obviously been here for a while, but I don't want to get haphazard with this and say this person gets 15 and this person gets 16 and that person, have some type of schedule. Hire is $15 an hour. It's a steep learning curve with the BSNA and all that kind of stuff. I think in 90 days you get a fair grasp. You're not an expert by any means, but I have no problem going to 16 after 90 days, maybe 17 after 6 months kind of thing. And then, at a year, maybe to $20. And then after that, it's maybe performance based. And then we have it, a schedule, just like we have a fee schedule for permits and things like that. So someone knows what to look forward to. So if we have a new hire, they know that in 90 days, they're going to get an increase. They know in 6 months, they're going to get an increase. And then after that, it's up to them to earn that increase based on performance based. So that would
When you
drive
say
like a yearly review.
When you say performance-based, who determines that?
I would say their supervisor, whoever their direct supervisor would be. I think there should be some type of review. I always had
The
performance review.
deputies, they work strictly for the treasurer
Right.
and the clerk. So
Mhm.
we wouldn't have input into that, any sort of a review. It's strictly the
Yeah.
treasurer.
I'm
and the
okay with
clerks.
that. I trust the supervisors to, or the leaders, whatever you want to call them, the managers to determine that. We just set the dollar figure, but, rather than one person starts at, 16 or whatever, we just start them where we want to start them and go from there.
No, the only problem with that is like with the deputy clerk, she's doing more, her job has changed, and that's kind of what I looked at. Her job has changed. So for that, she needs that little bit extra more than the rest of them. The deputy treasurer, there's been no changes. So whatever that person is now, like when I leave, there'll be a new deputy treasurer. Hopefully she'll have some experience to help up with the new treasurer.
So you're saying that they would start at
They would start at-
higher than 15?
Yes, yes. I'm not saying.
And I'm not saying 15 is the start.
No,
I'm just
no.
saying that we have
Right.
some type of progression. We can start at
Right.
20 and go
Yeah.
up from there. Whatever that number is, as long as we agree on it. But there needs to be some type of progression, whether it's time and or performance based.
Well, we actually, as a board, have gotten together almost every year or every 2 years to give everybody a increase, some kind of a percentage increase. We've always done that. So to have,
Because of COVID and stuff, I think we're behind the 8 ball right now at 1733. I think we're behind.
well, and like I said, Jennifer is the deputy clerk. Whoever does that job is learning all that new information that Jenny will teach her.
Right.
So the experience there is for her to keep a little bit more money now. So if a new one comes in, that's up to Jenny whether to give her a raise to a new person. I don't see that scale working in these positions. Maybe for other positions, maybe the building department, like we have Paige starting at 15. And then when she's here, like 45 days, this is her first time, then that increase will be there. And then I don't know if our rules say anything about increasing pay. I don't think the policy has anything.
I don't think,
like
not to say, negative or anything about your suggestion. I just don't think it's going to happen tonight, be able to do this. I think that, these are before us right now to take a look at, unless, the board chooses not to do anything, to wait for something like what you're talking about. But I would think we'd want to act on these because we have the people here already in place. What you're talking about is some sort of progression when new people come into a position. And that's going to happen, come December. So that way we'd have, we can work on this in the next month or so and have a progression and discuss it more fully then at that
And
point
maybe
in
they
time.
could be in our policy also.
Yeah, we'd have to
For a
put
new
something
person
in
to come in,
our personnel,
start
it
at
has to go in
this.
our personnel manual. We'd have to refer to that too.
Right, and
And
like for
add some
instance,
things
for
there.
instance, Sandy, I would not consider her like a new hire,
No,
right? Obviously, she
we
was
brought
here
her
for
in
years.
at the 1733 because that's what she was, everybody is there, other right now, they're all at the same rate. But like I say, there are going to be some new changes, coming this fall. So if we can address it right here with these changes and then work on that for, our whole policy and personnel manual then. Because
Roberta, what are you recommending for your
I would like to see like maybe a 5% increase,
5%?
5%, and I forget what we figured out what that would be. I didn't bring it with me.
18 something, wasn't
So 1733 times 5%.
it? Yeah.
What was the list, Paul, that you said, deputy clerk, deputy treasurer, that,
Zoning
Zoning
administrator,
administrator.
permit clerk, and secretary to the treasurer.
5% is 1820.
So that would,
About 80 cents an hour, isn't it?
yeah,
Roughly.
it's not a whole lot, but it's, it's better than 3% like we've always done. And that's what's gotten us into trouble being on a low scale because we only get 3%. Well, you nickel dime it, that's what happens. So then we're behind.
For purposes of tonight, if it has to be done tonight, I tend to agree with Paul. But we need to take a look at what Rick is recommending as a step program for the future.
Yep.
For the future.
Yeah, I definitely, I think that's the right way to
That's a great
do
idea.
it. But at least get this on the books right for right now, and then, because there's gonna be some changes, let's face it.
Yes.
Well, I like the fact that the proposed $20 for the deputy clerk, because her job has changed.
Yes.
And her responsibilities have increased dramatically. So I have absolutely no problem with that. Is that the only one we're going to change then tonight? We're
That's-
looking at changing?
The other ones would move it to the 1820, is give them the 5% raise if for the rest of them.
you're talking about secretary treasurer, that would be Sandy,
Correct.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Yes.
she is experienced in that field. I would put her at that 20 also.
She's just part-time. It's
She's
gonna be a
just part-time,
temporary
though.
position.
But still though, I mean, if you have to have somebody come in there that doesn't know anything, you're gonna,
Well, she's not,
But that's
doing-
not gonna be me. That's Sandy's here to help me right now.
I
in my
understand that,
situation.
yeah.
But when the new treasurer takes over and her deputy,
we're not talking about deputy, we're talking about secretary to the treasurer.
correct,
But that probably won't be
that
here.
won't be
Okay,
there.
then
It won't be,
why couldn't she be put at 20?
she can be, but she's
Well,
not
She
doing,
doesn't have that experience in my
Yeah.
tax. She's helping more at the window, which is,
collecting the tax money. She's not doing any of the data entry or
Right.
things like that.
so I put her at 1820. And then the permit clerk, we got a letter from them stating she needs 45 days. And then they'll have to address that at that time, not now. She's still on probationary time.
I did talk to Joe about that also. And my gut feeling is she's not gonna be around here at $15 an hour if you leave her there.
But that's her probation time.
Yeah.
That's her, she
Yeah, this-
knows that.
You know, I knew I was gonna get something from you, Roberta and Paul on this. I would say put her at $17.50. If you want a motion, I'll put it out there right now. To put
But
it
we
at
got
17.
recommendations from Joe in the building.
I
department.
talked to Joe
Well,
about it.
he gave us a paperwork.
I understand
that
that.
said
I
she needs
talked,
45 days. I don't have a problem with increasing her pay. I don't have a problem with that.
if
but
she
she needs
leaves,
that
we're gonna
probation.
start back over at $15 an hour and you're not gonna get anybody. That's what you want. I'll make a motion now that we take Paige wages to $17.50.
We have a motion and support to increase the permit clerk's wages to $17.50 an hour effective tonight. Okay. Any discussion?
How is this still, how will this change that probation date then? Or how will that affect
When I
that?
talked to Joe, he said he'd give us a report at 45 days.
Okay, okay.
If you read it, she's doing everything over and above from what Joe said. And I questioned him on it, so I called him up. And there was no time to write another letter, of course, so that's what I got out of him. I think that if we're gonna keep her, you better up her pay.
Is
She
she,
can go to McDonald's tomorrow and make $17.50.
I know,
So that's,
I know.
She has not had the BSNA program training yet. She's doing a great job.
correct.
She's
No
doing a great
problem
job.
with that.
But I went by Joe's recommendation letter from the building department.
That's why I called him.
Well, that's why I'm going with that, because that was his recommendation. Why change it? I mean, we're going against that.
How many more days is there? What's the window
It's not
between the
much.
It's
45?
not much.
It's like 5 days maybe.
Oh, it's 5 days?
Yeah.
Could we put it effective then when that 5 days is up? After that probation period?
Do that. I
Could
have
we
no
do
problem
that?
with
She only had 18 is what they're saying, and another 4, she's gonna have to have,
Oh, are you not talking,
Yeah, it's
you're
not-
talking work days now.
That's what-
See,
if
my
you wanna
40,
go
when I
45
think 45 days, I just think from her start date.
Yeah.
Is how I think of it. And she started, I believe she
Had to back it up.
started May 28th.
Yeah. Right after Memorial Day.
Yeah, I believe she started May 28th.
So what would the 45 days be?
of working days or days from the day she started.
Calendar days.
Today is 42 days.
Oh, it's only 42 days, so it's only 3 days. So if you could change your motion to be effective like in 3 days, you would, we would have met the probation
Sure.
period. Okay.
So effective 11.
So my only comment about that would be that we have to then look at that proportionate to the others that we're adjusting.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's a different
I worked here for
department.
2 years, and a person that worked here for 42 days just got a $2.50 an hour raise, and I just got an 80 cent an hour raise. I would not be happy.
Well, I'm one of the ones who would get the 80% raise, and I'm okay with it as the deputy treasurer. But the clerk is going to get, I think, 277. So it's it's right in that same ballpark. And the zoning administrator, I think that's a different type of job entirely. I don't know
That's
that.
only a part-time, it's
Yeah.
half times for 50 hours a month, so.
Right. And I think is that a salary or an hourly wage?
They've always taken
Yeah.
It's weird.
they've
remember
taken the
that,
hourly
yeah.
rate, multiplied by 50 hours, and then made that a salary.
Okay.
It's not an hourly position, it's a salary.
That's what I thought. So
But that's how they set the salary.
So what does it equate to?
Pardon?
What does it come up to? Is that the 1733?
Yes, right.
Now that is,
Yeah.
with what she gets paid.
So
But we'd say, recommend the same 5% there, the 1820.
And Kim are all at the 1733 right now?
Yes,
Right. Everybody is at 1733 right now,
except Paige.
Minus.
except Paige.
Yeah.
so Paige will go up to 1750. I'm sorry, I should not use names. I should use positions.
Positions.
The
yeah.
permit clerk will go up to 1750. The deputy clerk will up to 20. The zoning administrator will go up to, what was it, 1820,
1820.
as will the deputy treasurer. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Do you want to do them together like that, or do you want
Yeah,
to?
they could,
It doesn't
Single
matter.
them out.
Well, I think we need to do the permit clerk separately because it's effective
fine.
a certain date.
And I made the motion and was supported.
so we're in discussion right now, so.
Well, I'm gonna say this, I mean, for the people that you're gonna go to 1820, I would give them 1850, so they're $1 more than Paige's going 1750. I mean, it's only a little
Sure.
bit more,
And
I just
I have
feel
no
like
problem with that,
$1 seems more than when you're at 80
And
cents, to be honest.
Let's,
we're
let's
talking-
take care of the motion on the floor first. At 1750 for the permit clerk. Any further discussion on that?
Effective when?
Did you say 7-Eleven?
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Any more good discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now, let's talk about the deputy clerk at $20 an hour. We haven't done that one yet, right? We
Correct.
talked about it, but
So
let's take the deputy clerk now at $20. That's the recommendation.
that's the recommendation,
Of the clerk.
Jenny?
Yes, that was my recommendation.
Make a motion to adjust the deputy clerk's hourly rate to $20 an hour.
Support.
Motion support to adjust the deputy clerk's hourly rate to $20 effective
I mean,
January or July 1, like
I
the
would
rest
like
of
to
them.
do July
Okay,
1st, like.
July 1.
Because we started everything already.
The way our pay is, we get paid, after the fact anyway, so. Any discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We don't do roll call for that? Or not?
We don't do the resolutions, we're changing.
Oh, okay, I just want to make
Okay.
sure.
Motion is carried. Now, we'll talk about the zoning administrator and the deputy treasurer at 1850.
Support.
No, it's a motion, thank you. Randy made the motion, now we need a support. Rick, thank you. We have motion support to increase the hourly rates for the deputy treasurer and the zoning administrator to 1850. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. And we need to work on Rick's suggestion, and we can take a look at our personnel
And
policy. and-
Well, we'll put him in charge. Thank you.
treasurer secretary, are we doing hers also?
Yeah, where'd we leave her? It's,
Well,
we can put her
I
in.
suggested,
1850?
sure.
okay, that's a motion.
Yes.
Support.
We have motion support to set the treasurer secretary's hourly rate at $18.50 an hour effective July 1. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, that takes care of everybody and that we have. Okay. Moving on to the additional signer at Tri-County Bank. When we hired Sandy to help out, we didn't authorize her to do anything at the bank. So we need to have approval for Sandy Bletch be added as a check signer at Tri-County Bank.
I move to approve Sandy Bletch as a check signer at Tri-County Bank.
Support.
Do we need
Motion
two,
sup-
don't we use two banks?
Nope,
No, we just use
We
one.
just use one.
Tri-County. For
PNC moved out of town.
years.
We used to be-
PNC is gone. And I don't use Chase.
You mean
Is there a deposit protected?
choice?
The
You mean,
amount that-
Yes, because
it's-
the money that goes into the accounts, they're all FDIC
FDIC.
approved to the 250, and the rest gets swept into the investment accounts.
the banks have done different so that now
Yeah.
there's like speaking in a term that we've always talked about, CDs. They will take and put, Tri-County's going to take a CD and they're going to buy it in Bank ABC in Grand Rapids, and then they're going to take some more money and,
So all of our money is FDIC approved.
yes,
Pretty
the whole thing,
Protect.
yes.
All right, that's all I was concerned.
And that you'll see in our audit every year. It's always right there. We have no exposure whatsoever. Roberta works very hard at that.
I've been learning how to do that, and it's amazing.
We-
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion about adding Sandy as a signer?
No.
Not? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now we'll move on to our second public comment. Anyone that's still in the audience that sat here through this, if you've got anything. Dennis?
You didn't set an effective date for the deputy treasurers.
I 7-1.
July
7-1.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other that's still awake? Okay, let's move on to correspondence. I didn't bring it with me. They didn't give me a copy for everybody, but we got the EMS 2023 report and.
It's 2024, email is fine. They
So,
can email.
if you'd like a copy, I've got it in my office there. I forgot to bring it with me. If we can scan it and send it to you, whatever you'd like to do, but it's last year's, and it shows that Elmont Township has put almost $300,000 into that and got about a $20,000 return on,
Yeah.
with the waive deductible. So it's a lot of money to spent to get a small amount of money. So, any other correspondence, any board members?
No.
No. The last item that I've got under board discussion there, we've had a request from the Planning Commission and the Planning Commission Secretary to increase that wage. Right now, we pay $100 a meeting, no matter how long the meeting goes. And so that's been that way for quite some time, I think, but the proposal came in at $150 a meeting plus $10 an hour for anything over, I want to say it was 2 hours. Am I right? Okay. And it's not anything that we've taken up in the past. So I guess I'd open it up for discussion to see what the board would like to do.
Well, I know the planning commission struggled to find someone who would stay on as the recording secretary, or the person who'd do the minutes. The person that they did eventually go with, she does a phenomenal job. They are beautiful minutes. They really are. Are they worth $150? Probably. But it's up. I mean, I don't know. How does everybody else feel about that?
One, it's twice the amount that we pay the planning commission members.
Right. $50 an hour to take minutes, in my estimation, is fine. I've taken minutes through all the years. And whether it takes me 5 hours to do those minutes, my own fault, or an hour to take those minutes. How you do them is not our concern. If you take the job, you get paid for that. Does she need maybe a little increase? I would suggest $120 flat, no matter how many hours there is a meeting. Usually the meetings are 2 hours, correct? Pretty much. I mean, very
Plus or
rarely.
minus, yeah.
And from what
Sometimes an hour.
From what I understand, she doesn't really take the minutes. She goes home and reviews the YouTube meeting. And then, of course, that's going to take you more time because you're looking at that and you're typing this and you're looking at that. I can see taking the minutes yourself and then maybe reviewing on the YouTube session and tweak it that way. And her minutes are very good, a little lengthy in my eyes, because I've always been told less is more, but I know in the planning commission, when there's a certain issue, yes. But to say, Mr. Swear said this, Mr. Dodge said this, it's a discussion of the board, like we do here, discussion of the board. If it's something important that needs clarification for legal matters, I can understand that, then there should be full.
We do have the YouTube.
I'm sorry,
We do have the YouTube
that's what I'm saying.
Right. to
But
go
what
back on
yeah,
if it's
yeah,
not in the minutes.
right. But when you take your minutes, like I do, you take them, then you look at that, oh, okay, I missed that one, okay, oh, I had the wrong person. Then you adjust them, you can do that. But it shouldn't take you 6 or 8 hours to do 2 hours of minutes, in my estimation.
And when your minutes are approved by the next meeting, that's carved in stone. The YouTube, I don't believe is, because you don't approve the YouTube.
Right, I think you're right.
But she's taking that and putting it from that to here, which I understand. You can do that.
You know, I used to do the minutes too. I did them for the Planning Commission Board and ZBA, and this was before YouTube. And you just had to write carefully and then rely on your memory. And it could take a couple hours. There's no doubt about that. So I don't know. Like,
I suggest $120 flat rate.
120?
That's my suggestion.
Okay.
And no hourly.
No, that's for taking the minutes. That's $60 an hour. So it's like, okay, you should be able to do them in.
Is this something
Couple hours.
that, this is under board discussion? This is-
Right. Yep.
We're just discussing it.
Right.
We're not making any.
No, because we just received this and
Could,
we haven't had a chance to even
right.
look at this yet. So
I know that a few members of the Planning Commission are here. I know Andrea's here. She wrote
we've got
that. Can we
support
hear
from
from
both
her?
of those two right there. They
I know.
both emailed, so.
I
No,
know.
we're not.
Could Andrea talk a little bit about her email and how this kind of came about?
I think it was, go ahead, Andy.
So basically, she contacted me and said with the amount of content that is needed for a lot of the larger motions and the different things that are going on, it was taking her much longer to do it. And she does write it out at the meeting and then she listens to the YouTube to clarify. So with the meetings, and a lot of the meetings have been going over 2 hours. So she had asked for an increase. And I said, I will ask and see what we can do.
May I
You struggle finding someone, which is one of them.
May I ask, didn't we used to have our role person do the suggested motions for what was on the agenda? Didn't we do that before?
We did.
Yeah.
I thought so. And
I haven't
then
Yeah.
done that.
that way would make it a lot easier for
Yeah.
her.
That's a
If
whole
the
different
motions were
discussion.
already.
They stay on screen.
Just my suggestion.
I agree with Rick, like, that was I was on the planning commission and did those, but you guys are the ones making all the decisions, so for her to go to 150 compared to your, I believe you guys get 80, I just think that's a lot, like, then do we raise you guys?
It's just as a comparison, I don't think either one. I mean, the planning commission, you can put as much time as you want into it, right? You can go out to the site, you can view everything, you can research things, you can take all the classes that are available to you, or you can just show up and pick up your packet as you walk into the meeting. It's all how you approach that deal. So it's hard to put a number on that, really. It was just kind of putting it in perspective.
No, when I looked at your email, that was my only
Yeah,
concern,
I will
guess, is
second
what
that.
you guys make compared to that.
What Kim said, the minutes are great. I mean, hands down, best I've ever seen. So.
They're better than any minutes I ever took. I will just say that. They're
And I'll agree.
phenomenal. They're
And
good.
And I played that secretary role for a while too.
So you know,
I do.
they're really,
I do.
really
I
good.
do. I don't know. A 50% increase is pretty stout. And then additional time on top of that, that's a lot. So, and it already pays a fair amount, I think, at, 50, or even if they put 3 hours into it, it's $33 an hour. It's way more than we're paying. It's double than what we're paying some of the people in the office. So.
Yeah, I think Roberta's got a fair compromise. We're dealing with the same thing you guys talked about with the Minnesota retaining somebody that's got talent. And that's the challenge. All across the board, what you guys deal with on the hourly rates here, and what we deal on a planning commission. The challenge with the minutes is whether that's gonna go to court or not. And that's, when you talk about the details of the minutes, we've had some pretty complicated site plans this year, 2 big ones. And one of them is still pending. This is the third time for the planning commission, I might say. It gets battered about during the meeting and you're trying to keep up with everything. YouTube has been tremendous help. But, yeah, I think a reasonable compromise would be 120, I'm sorry.
120, yeah,
YouTube has helped a lot.
yes.
So,
And who,
Okay, we
and
can,
to make that, the motions by row come in again, who, is that the planning commission ask for that? Would they ask for them to
Yeah.
do that?
we have,
Okay. Is that something maybe you could address?
hasn't happened.
Oh, dear.
That's a whole different discussion.
So
Okay,
it
maybe
has-
the next time
One
around,
that I probably shouldn't be part of.
maybe the next person to be our representative from Rome on the planning commission, maybe? Just a thought, food for thought.
We'll bring this back at the August meeting for action then.
Okay.
Is that okay? Other discussion from the board? Anything else that you want to see on the agenda for next month?
Good. I have just one quick question. I was getting phone calls from people that were getting tax bills that shouldn't have got them.
Oh, I'm gonna make a statement. in a
Can,
minute.
what?
I'm gonna make a statement. in a
Oh, then I'll
minute.
shut up. All right.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Roberta.
All right. Residents got, I saw this on Facebook, of course. Residents were getting a yellow tax bill, which is a township tax bill that I send out, and their village tax bill, which is white. Mine's yellow, theirs is white because they both go out at the same time in July. Well, when I was doing my taxes, and my health has not been that good, and I'm not saying that's a problem, but I sent my upload of all my information for tax bills to my mailing company, to KCI, before I put in the mortgage code. Not all of them, but my big one. So that's why the residents that have a mortgage company got the yellow tax bill by mistake. There's nothing wrong with the tax bill. It's just they got a copy of it, which I normally don't send residents out a copy because there's way too many. So that was my mistake. I answered on Facebook. I put it on my own Facebook page that I made a mistake because they were saying, somebody online was saying that we're double dipping now. They're double dipping us. I said, I'm sorry, that is not double dipping. I made a mistake. I apologize to everybody. I've got a lot of phone calls. The girls in the office have taken calls and said the exact same thing. All the mortgage companies have been notified, uploaded, everything is good to go. They're fine. So I'm just letting everybody know. Sorry for the mistake and the miscommunication there. So my fault. just to let everybody know.
So I got a yellow one, I can throw it away.
Yes, you can, if you have a mortgage company.
No, I don't. I just throw it away anyway.
No, you gotta pay it.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
How much more would it cost if we sent them to everyone, even if they have a mortgage company?
And how much is postage now?
It's going up to what,
It went up.
81 cents?
Is it
or-
81
I
or
forget.
something, or-
It's,
No, that was.
No,
the heavier
61
thing.
or
It's
something?
64 right now, but I believe
that's
it-
right, it's the balance.
But it's going up again, I believe, July 14th.
Yeah, 72 it's going to?
Wow. So a lot. That's why I don't do that. I don't send them.
Post office now, you got until the week.
Any other discussion for what we have for tonight?
I'd make a motion to adjourn if we're done.
Support, oh, sorry.
Oh,
Right,
oh,
it's
oh.
gonna be right about this. So when we get to board discussion, I would like each person gets their time. Because usually when someone starts talking about it, we break into discussion, and then all of a sudden Kim says, I move to adjourn, or Randy, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Sometimes things get missed. You know, the meeting ends and you're sitting here like, what just happened? So it's just a procedural thing that I would prefer that, you know, Rick, do you have anything? Roberta, do you have anything? Kim, and so on. And that way everybody gets asked if they have their say. And that way no one gets left out. That's all.
Up to the board if they want to do it that way.
Because that's
I mean, I
exactly
don't
what
know
I was
that
going to bring
anybody's
up, and
ever
then
had-
it moved to that, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've given up, I think.
I
we
think,
give a lot of
it
time,
used to
but
do it that way.
No, I've never done it that way.
Okay, maybe it was planning commission we used to do it. But
It's up to the board if they want to change. Makes no difference to me.
That's fine.
That's fine.
just so everybody has their say, that's all I had to say.
Okay.
Rick, anything else?
No.
Roberta?
No,
Yeah.
No,
What happens if you're not here? Do we still have to call upon you?
Yes,
Anything else?
I make a motion to adjourn.
support.
We have a motion to support to adjourn. Any discussion? No, all those in favor? Aye.
I.
Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.